Now for the video you guys have all been waiting for. The UVA party scene. JK, no one was probably waiting for this, but I promised this video to you guys like 2 years ago, so here we are. So the UVA party scene is divided into 3 groups and 3 stages. Let's talk about the stages first. So the first stage is fratting. That's when all the young kids go before they make connections and or turn 21. At UVA, all the fraternities are located on a road called Rugby Road. The frat scene is also very white, which is one of the 3 groups. The second stage is once these kids make connections, they start going to exclusive apartment parties. Okay, they're not exclusive, but they start going to apartment parties. And the third stage, once you turn 21, either illegally or legally, that's when you go to the bars. And for UVA, all the bars are located in the corner, which is accessible by walking. There are also bars downtown, but no one really goes there because you need the drive to get there. That's also where our own Martise Johnson was beat by ABC officers. And now within these 3 stages are also 3 groups: the white group, the minority group, and the everyone group. So we'll start off with the easiest, which is the everyone group. Everyone goes to bars, come together, and have a good time, regardless of your race, ethnicity, gender identity, and sexual orientation. I guess I'll talk a little about some of the bars at UVA. So popular bars include Trinity, which includes an upper dance floor, Crozet, Biltmore. I haven't even gone to all of them because I started late. I didn't start going to bars until like I was almost 22. All my friends were younger than me. We had to wait for them to turn 21. But there's Survivor Hour at the Bill, which is half off rails from 8 to 9, I think. And then there's Pint Night at Mellow Mushroom, where all pints are like $4 or $5, and pitchers are cheaper too. So that's really fun. I really miss Pint Night because you can taste so many different beers, and there's usually like a long line because of the price of beers. And the second group is the minority group. So each minority group can be categorized by its CIO. And within the CIO, it's not limited. You can join like the Vietnamese Student Association if you're not Vietnamese, but we'll just call them a VSA, a minority group. And there are a lot of cultural CIOs, but I'll focus on the Asian organizations because that's what I'm familiar with. So at UVA, the 3 biggest Asian CIOs are the Vietnamese Student Association, VSA, Chinese Student Association, CSA, and Organization of Young Filipino Americans, which is OIFA. And these 3 groups, their parties are kind of the same. It's like the same structure. So there are apartment parties, like I said before, and pre-games. And these pre-games lead to bigger CIO-sponsored events or parties. And these CIOs, they rent out a restaurant or bar and host a dance party, usually after a big event of the CIO, or just to party, like for Halloween. And these parties are open to anyone, not just people in the CIOs, but you have to pay a charge because they're renting out a place after all. These CIOs also host smaller parties at members' apartments sometimes. In addition to these cultural organizations, UVA also has a couple of Asian fraternities. These frats host parties too, but their houses aren't located on Rugby Road, so they're separate from the white group. So I'll tell you guys a little bit more about the CIO-sponsored parties that these Asian orgs host. So the very first location I found in my study, they used to hold parties at Lambeth Commons, which is a dorm. Lambeth is a dorm, so they used to host it in their common area. And then I think they moved on to this restaurant called Szechuan, and we would call it Sketchuan, because a lot of ratchet things would go on there. But now, they're all bougie and fancy now, that they don't really host parties. No one really hosts parties. After I graduated, I don't think I've seen a party at Szechuan anymore. They moved on to renting out bars on the corner. They hosted parties at Szechuan because Szechuan was the largest venue and it was the cheapest, because it was a bit of a drive. So there would actually be driving shifts of people driving people to these parties. And the rise in hosting Asian parties at bars on the corner is due to the fact that there have been more Asian restaurants on the corner. I think one of the restaurants is actually owned by some members of one of the Asian fraternities. Asians recently have gotten their own Rugby Road. So there's this street in Charlottesville called Jefferson Park Avenue, and that's where a lot of Asians live off campus because it's cheap and close to campus. Whereas white people live closer to Rugby Road in the corner. So Jefferson Park Avenue can be shortened to JPA, and it's been nicknamed JP Asia because of all the Asians that live there. And for like past 4 or 5 years, there's even a thing called the JPA Progressive. That's how far we've come, fam. So apartment parties are a lot chiller. So that's where you'll find games like Flip Cup, Slap Cup, and Beer Pong. And there may be a small dance floor, but it's mostly drinking and socializing and hanging out. Nothing really too ratchet goes on there. The white group is the group that goes fratting the most, that are in sororities and fraternities, and the more advanced level of fratting is going to date functions, and those are their parties in addition to apartment parties. So I personally have never been to a frat party, but I've heard that they're really boring and really ratchet, which I guess is why first years eventually get fake IDs so they can go to bars and stuff. I've also, from my observations, and I don't want to like stereotype frats at all, but we all have heard about how frats can be dangerous for girls. But from my experiences going to Asian parties, I never felt like I was in danger. Like, if you're drunk, we will take care of you. There are sober people and upperclassmen who will take care of you if you're drunk. You will get home safely. Whereas I don't think I feel that protection and safety going to a frat party. Frat parties, it's like it's up to you and your friend to take care of each other. There's like no higher authority that will take care of you. I think that's a pretty good overview of the party scene at UVA. Let me know in the comments below if you have any questions, if you're a prospective student, if you have any questions about the party scene. We were ranked the top party school by Playboy, like during my sophomore year, so go Who's, work hard, play hard. Peace. Flip cup.